Good morning. My name is Ali, and in this video I'm going to lead you through a short morning movement session. So if you haven't had your coffee, you can go and grab one. Feel free to play some chill tunes in the background if you want. And yeah, you don't need a lot more, some space to move in. And you don't really need a yoga mat either. You can have one, you can practice on carpet. Feel it out, see what works best for you. Let's dive in. Okay, you can go ahead and have a sip of your coffee and come into a standing position. We're going to start standing. If you can, see if you can be barefooted. Take the socks off, take the shoes off. If that's not possible for you, or if it's too cold, not a big deal. I recommend that because it's just nice to get that extra sensitivity first thing in the morning towards the floor and what all of that feels like, and wake it up. So come into just any sort of stance, doesn't matter. I'm going to start with something super easy. We're just going to start to open up our body and arms in any way. Take a big breath, even yawn. I encourage you to yawn. And as you exhale, let it go. Just like collapse your body a little bit, yield into floor. And then with the next breath, another yawn, maybe a different direction. And then let it go, collapse again. Just do it a couple more times with every yawn, every inhale. Find some opening, find some length, find a new position. Maybe you can reach to the side. And then let it go. Another one. Very nice. Next thing, just going to take our hands, start to just tap the body a little bit. So why are we doing this? Because if you're doing this in the morning, it's just nice to wake up the skin, wake up different parts of the body. You know, you can even go all the way to the feet. Make sure you go to the lower back. You can even make some sounds, feel the vibration. You can make it as weird as you want. And go towards the head and the neck, and maybe a bit more gentle with the tapping, just fingertips. Go down the arms if you haven't. Again, we're just waking up all the skin, the sensations that we have. And then go ahead and actually shake things out. Shake the shoulders, the chest, the belly, the hips. Bring it down to the hips. Find some, butt shaking, leg shaking. You can imagine you're like sitting on a washing machine that's spinning pretty intensely. Just let the vibration go through. Nice. You just let it fade out. If all that stuff was weird, that's perfect. And go ahead and find your stance. I'm going to go for a bit of a wider stance here. Just going to bend the knees, have the hands down here. And as I inhale, I'm going to take the arms to the side. As my arms fold up towards the sky or the ceiling, I also start to straighten the legs. And when my arms are all the way up, my legs are straight. And this is the inhale. And with the exhale, I'm going to take my hands, palms towards the floor. Push down towards the floor, bend the knees again. So again, inhale, arms float up, start to slowly straighten the legs. Fill up the lungs at the top. And then exhale, slowly sinking back towards the floor, pushing that energy down. And do a couple more like that. Really nice opportunity to connect with the breath. Just 2 more here. Okay, very nice. You can let it go. We're gonna do a couple more strange movements here. We're gonna do some spinal work because moving the spine first thing in the morning or just any time of the day really, it's really good. We're always, walking or moving in a very rigid way. So just bringing movement in the spine is really nice. So first thing is a spinal wave. There are a couple of different planes, sagittal plane, frontal plane that we can do it in. So the first one is I'm just thinking of curling myself inwards, especially focusing on the top of the head, bringing it down. And then the head starts to dive forward. And then everything below it kind of follows. So my forehead, the nose, chin, neck, chest, belly, hips, they all go forward. And then I start again as I curl inwards first, and then I dive forward with the head, with the nose, with the chin, neck, chest, belly, hips. So once you kind of connect a few together, it will have a wave-like feeling. And then in the beginning it might not, but after some time of practice, you will find some articulation in the spine and it's going to be good. So I'm going to do it for a few seconds. Nice and easy breathing. One more. Nice. Next thing, same idea, we're just going to go side to side. So thinking of the top of my head again, I'm going to go to my left here, and then my shoulders follow, and the rest of my body follows as I shift my weight to the side, and then I go the other way. The shifting of the weight is important from one foot to the other foot. Just go ahead and give it a try. Again, if you haven't done this, it's going to feel quite strange, but that's okay. Imagine you're in between 2 sheets of paper or 2 panes of glass. You can imagine you're a snake. Nice. Should be good for now. Bring it back. Have your feet a little bit wide. Bring your hands on your hips. Just gonna circle downwards towards one leg. Go to the center. Go to the other side. Come up. Whatever your range is, work with your range. It might not look like mine, and that's totally fine. Just gonna take another circle. And then go up. And let's switch the direction. Come all the way up. Let's do one more. Nice. Last thing with the spine, for the next 30 seconds, we're just gonna mix it all together. We're gonna bring some shaking. We're gonna bring different sorts of spinal movement. You can think of it as you're kind of like in the water, the bottom of the ocean, and your spine is like seaweed, you know, the water just moving it around, flowing in the water and in different directions. So there's really no right or wrong to this. So I'll just stop talking, but basically just can close your eyes, ask yourself, how do I want to move my spine right now? Just take a breath and just go for it. You can use the patterns we just did to the side and forward. You can shake it out in the middle. We're just finding release throughout the spine, throughout the neck. Think of it as a weird dance. Seaweed spine. And you can stop, come back to center. We're gonna come back into our wide stance if we're not there already. Just gonna bend the knees. Sink the hips a little bit lower. And as you feel the floor underneath you, as you feel the support, go ahead and shift your weight from side to side. Starting pretty easy. And wherever your range is, that's perfect. So listen to what your limits are, listen to your body, and explore the edges whenever you feel like it. And let's also bring a little bit of looseness in the pelvis. We hold a lot of tension usually throughout our pelvis. So you can kind of like, as you shift from side to side, see if you can also turn the pelvis and the chest and the rest of the body really, but starting from the pelvis, turning it to one side as you go and the other side. Again, you might have quite a bit of tension and tightness, which might restrict you, but that's fine, and that's exactly what we're trying to release. So bring your attention down towards the pelvis, towards the hips, as you shift. Easy breathing. Just a couple more here. Maybe go a little bit deeper for the last few seconds. Then go ahead and bring yourself back up. Whew. Okay. Next thing, we will bring yourself into a deep squat. And wherever that is for you today, if you have to lift the heels up, if you're not super comfortable with it, that's totally fine. To go to your deepest position, maybe you can bring the heels down. You're going to spend a second here, breathe. And then as you exhale, go ahead and lift the hips up, coming to a forward fold here. You can have the knees bent as much as you want. You can literally let the ribs rest on your thighs. And then come back into a squat. So I'm going to go back and forth between these two positions a few times. Using the breath, you could actually inhale here and then exhale, lift up. You can take another breath here. And as you exhale, you can come back into a squat. If you like a different rhythm with the breath, go ahead and use that by all means. Just make sure you are incorporating the breath somehow into these two movements. Just a couple more. All right, that should be good enough. From here, just take your hands behind you, bring your hips down, take your feet a little bit wider, and we're gonna go through a windshield wiper motion here. So take your time as you go through this. You could, I encourage you to take it slowly and find any restrictions that you might find on the way, using the full range. And maybe you could not use the hands at all. Maybe you could press into your sitting bones and just let the arms be floating, maybe support you when you need it on the sides or behind you. Just basically using it less and less. Just to go ahead and do a couple more. Nice. That should be good. So to move on here, just a few more things left. We will come into this position where my knees are on the floor, my hips are stacked on top of my knees. I'm just gonna reach my arms forward. Version 1 is to just reach the arms forward on the palms. And now I'm lowering my chest, melting my chest towards the floor. So as I'm doing this, depending on your body, you could feel stretch kind of in the shoulder area, around the armpit area, somewhere in the chest. And if you want a bit more intensity, you could tint the fingers and go on the fingertips. And maybe even take your gaze forward, try to take your chin to the floor. Another breath here. And then come back up. I'll turn it this way so you can see what I'm doing next. From here, I'm going to lift my right arm. I'm going to thread it through, wrap it around my body as if I'm hugging myself. And go for the hug so it's like a little twist to the left for me. And then I'm going to open up, take that hand behind my head, turn my chest the other way. So again, I'm going to reach for a little twist, hug myself. And then I'm going to open up, turn my chest the other way. With the reach, if the hugging is weird, you could just reach it through, maybe even take the shoulder on the floor, the back of the hand on the floor, instead of hugging yourself, and then opening up. So do a couple with me. Now we'll switch sides. Again, you can hug, look up towards the ceiling. Or you can just reach through. Again, you can look up. Nice. I'm going to stop here. Just going to bring ourselves down on the floor. We're almost done. Not a lot left. Go down to the floor. Go around your back a little bit. Bring the knees into the chest, a little bit out to the side too, so 15 degrees, kind of out to the side. And roll from side to side a little bit here. Feel your lower back on the floor. And then what we could do is take the hands on the outer edge of the feet. So this would be called happy baby in yoga. So I'm going to take the feet up towards the ceiling, and we can actually pull down the feet with our hands towards the floor. Just going to feel a bit stretchy on the hips. If for any reason that you don't want to do this, it feels vulnerable or weird, you can totally skip this. But it's just nice to roll around. You could potentially play with straightening one leg at a time, however straight it goes. Get into the hamstrings a little bit. Ooh, nice. I'm just gonna let it go. Last couple things. You can just let your arms and legs be floating upwards towards the ceiling, like an octopus. Gonna move things around. If your body allows you to do this, and you want to try this, you can lift your hips up here as if you're going into a shoulder stand. Let me adjust myself here. So you could lift up, press the elbows into the floor, lift up, support yourself with the hands on the hips, and continue to just move the legs around. Maybe reaching for the space behind you with the legs, exploring it with your toes. You can look at where you're reaching. If your feet go all the way and touch the floor, great. If not, just explore the air. Should feel quite nice on the back. And to come down, just gonna slowly parachute down towards the floor. Try not to crash. And then the last thing here, bring the sole of the feet together on the floor. Let your knees open up into this butterfly position. Just go ahead and feel the floor again. Let gravity pull your knees down. Invite some breath in. And release. You stay here as long as you want. I'm just going to end this session formally with a minute of sitting in some sort of meditation position. You could keep lying down if you want. You could support yourself, sit on a block or something like that to elevate the hips. And just come into a still position. Of course, if you have a meditation practice of any kind, you could get into that state. My invitation here is to just feel the breath, feel your posture in spine and space. And also feel the floor. And noticing how those three elements can support each other. The floor, supporting the spine, also the breath. All right, that's it from me. If you want to stay here longer, do your thing. But yeah, I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Cheers and much love.